Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are here with another one of your questions about work. And we were just talking and saying that Aaron's becoming our go-to co-host here. Aaron, who was a fellow with us at Bloomberg Beta and is now back to finish his senior year of college. And so if you're hiring a software engineer, Aaron is a good guy to put on your list. Just put in that advertisement. For those of you who are here for the first time, I'm Roy, startup investor, future work. And every day we take on a question that we get. And Aaron, I think this question was one of yours, so go for it. Ask the question, we'll jump in.
All right. What are tips to help overcome rejection and build resilience?
Yeah, so overcoming any obstacle is portrayed as innate by our culture. Find a person who has grit. It implies that there's some people who have grit and some people who do not. But I just think it's a muscle. And the way I've never met a person who is good at overcoming their first rejection. And by the way, the later that rejection comes in their life, the harder it is for them because they've built up this whole unspoken story to themselves of, I do things right, I've never let anything fail, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I've never been the smartest person in any school I went to. I've never been the most talented person in anything I've done. Like, get rejected early and often, and then it gets easier. Now, a couple of things can happen. One is you can become immune to the rejection in the sense that you no longer receive any information. A lot of salespeople are like that. You reject them, they just keep coming. And by the way, there's a great, Mike Bloomberg has this line. He says, a good salesperson, if they knock on the door and they get rejected, they just go to the next door. I'm kind of messing this up, but it's something like this. A great salesperson knocks on the door and gets rejected, and they knock on the same door again. And the problem with that can be, that's great. The problem is when you stop listening, then you have a problem. And so the trick is, can you develop something where you don't take it personally and it's just information? Why did they reject me? What can I learn from this? Not, I'm bad, I've done something wrong, ... And so doing things where you frequently get rejected is part of the game. And sales jobs can be really good for that. Just practicing asking for things where you might get told no. I probably get told no or non-response 5-6 times a day on one thing or another. And, I'm not going to say it doesn't ever bother me because we all will have something where rejection will ultimately bother us. But what I'm trying to do is build the muscle that I could be rejected by bigger and bigger and more ambitious things. Somebody once told me, you define your focus by the best thing that was on the cutting room floor, the best thing that you didn't do. In a way, you define your resilience by the biggest thing you've been able to overcome. And so I just want to overcome bigger and bigger and bigger things while still letting in the information and not just being like, well, they rejected me, so sour grapes, they must be an asshole. And then you just ignore them because then you don't evolve. Then you're just becoming cold. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. How does that land with you, Aaron? What your experiences have been?
You have to try. You have to put yourself out there. Being rejected, I know we all have feelings. And what are you going to do about those feelings? You can't sit on them and let them just, prosper. That's when you build up the fear and then you can't try again. But if you keep on going and you keep on trying, eventually that resilience is going to land you a good job or where you want to be. Or you're going to learn something about yourself where maybe this is not for me because I'm not being picked.
Yeah. And I'm curious, Aaron, in your own life, when you found yourself becoming more resilient to something, whatever it was, and if you want to tell the story, you can, but I'm just curious, how did you notice that you were becoming more resilient?
I would say, for example, this year, trying to get an internship. I've interviewed for about 10 internships before I got this internship. I've done Amazon.
Lucky us.
I did Amazon, AWS. I did Advanced Auto Parts, ServiceNow. And through those interviews, I made it to the part where, I'm sitting down, I'm talking to an engineer. And after that, I get the rejection letter later. But I didn't just take the rejection as that's it. I went and asked the recruiter, why didn't I get this position? What happened? Why was the better candidate, picked? And then they gave me advice, and I took that advice and I went to my career center and started doing practice interviews and, asking them telling them the experience I had.
That's awesome.
If I made a change or a difference, and that built me up. Yes, my feelings were hurt at the time, being rejected, but I thought I can't just sit on this. I do want to do better for myself. So how do I do that?
Yeah. And I mean, look, I'll be honest. I've carried grudges for a long time about some stuff because I was just bitterly disappointed. But you are answering a question that we didn't even ask, which is how can I make the most of a rejection? And the answer is by turning it into growth. and you went and said, okay, what is the lesson in this rejection? How can I adapt my behavior and learn from that? And then the next time you succeed. And now here we are dispensing not advice on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you get the internet. And so for folks who are here for the first time, we call it This Is Not Advice because we're not telling you how to live your life. We're just sharing our experiences of ours. And looking forward to many more of these, Aaron. And if folks have other questions for me or for Aaron, you can ask them. We're easy to find on the internet. And I hope to do this again, Aaron, to be continued.